Yeah, let's get it.
Welcome to CACTICALMAIN.
How in the hell did your 40-year-old ass end up on a Supersport? Not just a sports bike, but a Supersport. Well, long story. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, because I can't have any right now because, well, I'm riding. And sit back and enjoy. Maybe we ride around a little bit. Burp. As you can see, I take it easy on it. I don't go crazy. Maybe sometimes he does, but not all the time. This guy waited for me. Thanks for waiting, bud. Alright, always thank other intelligent drivers when you're out there riding. So let's get back to the story at hand. Let's rewind to CACTICALMAIN. 21 years old. 21 years old. Sees the ZX10r 750 for the first time in his life in person. Doesn't get on it, just sees it. And he's like, what the hell is that? I want that. But keep in mind, 21-year-old CACTICALMAIN is very irresponsible. I guess you could say I was responsible in the fact that I said, dude, you are too irresponsible for that. And here at 40 years old, wait until I was 40 to get a Supersport or a sports bike of any kind. Yeah, I am I'm circumventing the story, but I am extremely thankful that I waited. Oh, right in the I don't know if the GoPro showed that bump or not, but wow. From that point on, I'd always wanted a sports bike. I just wanted a motorcycle, but I continued to tell myself, like, it was so bad, I would even dream about it, dudes. I would dream of riding a sports bike home, and my dreams were so damn real, I would be turning into the actual driveway of where I lived at that time. And these dreams I've had, and it might sound corny, but I'm sure y'all have had dreams too, that reoccurring dreams trying to tell you something. It's like, get it? But yeah, I had these dreams, dude. There's just non-stop. I mean, it wasn't all the time, but at least once or twice a year, I'm out on the motorcycle and I'm like, I'm doing it. And get home, pull in the driveway, and then I wake up, I'm like, man, there's no way you'll ever learn how to ride a bike. You can't trust yourself on one of those. Fast forward many years. We're gonna go on a little bit of a scenic route here. Hopefully nobody pulls out in front of me. Gonna go on a scenic route. So fast forward many years to 37 years old. 37 years old was the first time in my life that I felt I was mature enough and financially stable enough to get a motorcycle. So what did you get? You got a big ass Harley Davidson. That's what you got, CACTICALMAIN. A big ass 900 pound 114 cubic inch bike, and that's what I learned on. So yes, we're gonna go on a little sidetrack here. You don't have to buy a little 400 as long as you're responsible and you are mature enough and you know how to respect something. And this guy's going fast. I'm doing 43 and it's taking forever to catch up to him. You can start out with it. I do not suggest starting out on a leader bike. That is, in my book, probably not. 37 years old, big ass Harley. I buy the bike before I even take the MSF course. I have no idea how to ride. Go take the MSF course, get my license, and then I do it smart. I ride the bike around the neighborhood for the first like 2 weeks. And the first time I venture out the neighborhood is like 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday when nobody's on the road, right? Awesome time to go learn how to ride and deal with streets and get more speed. Because, you know, the MSF course doesn't It only teaches you low speed maneuvers. It doesn't teach you any high speed stuff. So I get the Harley, and I ride the Harley for 3 years, and I just love every minute of it. I love being on 2 wheels. There's times where I really wish that I didn't wait so long to get a bike, but then there's times I'm really thankful I did, because CACTICALMAIN in his 20s was very irresponsible. Like, the only responsible thing he was with firearms. Everything else he was very irresponsible. Finances, employment decisions, everything. Fighting, drinking, everything. I'm glad I didn't get this when I had my 20 to 30-year-old hot-headed mind. It took to like 32 for me to grow out of that crap. Get on a bike, if you haven't ridden a bike, you get on a bike, you learn how to ride a bike, and you just get on a road like this, set your cruise control, and it's just bliss. But then I started modifying my Harley. I put a 475 SNS cam in it, and I started feeling speed. The Harley's fast to begin with, right? Nowhere is it even close to this thing. Where is it close to a leader bike? Nowhere is it close to a leader bike, but it's quick. It's got acceleration, it's got torque. And I started wanting more and more and more. And then one day it just popped in my head, CACTICALMAIN, you have always wanted a sports bike. But now you're 40 years old. You can't lean over. You can't do this. You can't do that. You're out of shape. You'll never be able to ride one. So I kind of put it off. I put it on, put it off, put it on, put it off. Then I started looking at naked bikes, and I'm like, oh, these might actually work well. Really fell in love with the MT-09. Really fell in love with the MT-10. Now this is just looking at them online, right? Because the time that I decided that I wanted something like a sports bike or a naked bike, a hyper naked, is shipping shortages with the pandemic. Good grief. So nobody's got them in stock to go sit on and test them and whatnot. So eventually, buddy of mine, buddy Jason, and I, one day I couldn't make up my mind, you know, Dustin, what do you really want? Because I was saving up. What are you saving for? Are you saving for a sports bike, or are you saving for a naked? Which one is it that you really want? So look at this. This is just beautiful. Screw the story. Screw the story at hand. Just beautiful. Both sides. Both sides. Just beautiful. Just a beautiful area, I'm telling you. And I'm on a Supersport doing 30 miles an hour, and I'm still able to enjoy life. It's still fun. You don't always have to do 100 miles an hour. Well, you know, you always have to do 100 miles an hour when you get on this at least once for the ride. But so we go down to the store, and I'm sitting on these hyper nakeds and these naked bikes and whatnot, and I'm sitting upright, and I'm like, you know, I sit upright on the Harley. If I'm getting another bike, I want something that beautiful. Sorry, it just keeps distracting me. It's so beautiful out here. I want something different. So I start sitting on the sports bikes, and I'm like, ugh. Yeah, you're right, dude. You're 40. You can't ever do this crap. You'll never be able to ride one of these. And then I just happened to be looking over, and I see the 2021 ZX10r. I'm like, wow, that's pretty. I bet you that thing's uncomfortable as hell. Salesman says for 90% of the people out there, it is extremely uncomfortable. But hey, let's throw you on it. I sit on it, dude. It feels like this bike is made for me. Had a puberty voice crack right there. It feels like this bike is made for me. Moment of silence for the Canopy Road. Just beautiful. But yeah, I've owned this bike for about 2 months now, and as you can tell, in no way, shape, or form am I a Supersport. Am I going to be tearing it up on the roads? Am I going to be tearing it up on the streets? That's one of the things I'm very happy that I waited till I was a little bit more mature to get one of these, because it is extremely easy to get arrested on this fucking bike. That's all I'm going to say on that. It's like ridiculously easy to double the speed limit. It's ridiculously easy to double the speed limit on the highway. Like, literally, flick of the wrist, flick of the wrist. That's all. Just flick of the wrist, and you're. Never mind, it's ridiculously easy to get arrested, to make your insurance go through the roof. But it's also ridiculously easy to get yourself in a terrible situation. If you ain't paying attention and you flick that wrist and it's a road you've never been on, you don't know the corner, the curve, it's game over. There's the highway. Woohoo! So at 40 years old, riding a Supersport for 2 months, I definitely still have a lot more to learn. I've got like 1,000 miles on this, maybe. I've had the 700-mile service done. Let's get cruise control back on here. So I've had the 700-mile service done. The brake-in is terrible. That's just, this thing is not made to be ridden softly in the brake-in. It just isn't. It just wants to go, and you want to send it. Send it a little bit. Send it a little bit if you get a Supersport or a sports bike and the brake-in is like 700 miles. And I'm like, hey, don't go over 4,000 RPM. It's like, who the fuck are you? Have you ridden one of these? But I definitely have a lot more to learn. Let's see these lean angles. So if you can see on there, I doubt you can see on there, my max lean on the left is 33 degrees, the max lean to the right is 30. Right hand, 926 miles. Right hand leans are killing me, guys. It's in my head. And that's something they told me at the MSF course. You know, the majority of the population has a hard time in America, has a hard time leaning to the right. I don't know. It's just, when I have time, I go to empty parking lots and I practice my right turns, my right leans, right 360s, and stuff like that. It's just something in my head. I have a difficult time, so I got a lot to learn. And then I think the more. My plan is sometime this summer, maybe summer, fall, probably the fall when it starts cooling off a little bit more. There's a couple of courses, track courses down in South Florida that I'm going to try and hit up. I'm going to save up and try to get to some of them to learn really how to ride this thing. So, am I really going to learn? Am I ever going to use this bike to its fullest potential? Absolutely the frick not. But you know what? I will never wish I had more. This bike, I love her to death, and I know for a fact I will never ever wish I had more. So extremely happy with the purchase, extremely happy with my decision to wait till I was 40 years old to get a sports bike, a Supersport leader bike at that. I mean, obviously I'd be leaps and bounds ahead of where I'm at in my riding skill had I gotten earlier. But I probably also would have seriously messed myself up earlier. I love it, dudes. Alright guys, that was my long ass story. We just got a long, boring US 1 ride home, so we're gonna go ahead and take off. Thank you for stopping by Tactical Main. I appreciate it. If you want to support the channel, click on one of the links in the description or the comment section below. Any purchase there helps support the channel, gets more stuff for the bike. Let me know if you want to see more motovlogs, and we'll see you in the next one. Deuces, dudes and dudettes.